Hello, Internet. I'm Jackie Fox, and welcome to another episode of Gumi Economics, which is gonna, we'll get to Gumi. We'll get to Gumi. But first, a bit of a history lesson, a trip through time, which is most of what this is going to be. Like, how did we get to the place that we are with gachas? How did the systems that we are familiar with come to be? Especially the kind of the economic systems and the things that we take for granted within gachas. Because I remember the FFBE gacha, which I started playing maybe in 2016 or 2017, being very different in terms of what my expectations were. The idea of having a pity was either something that I just comically didn't understand, thought was too expensive to consider, or just didn't exist. And I'm not really sure which of those it is at that exact time. But we will get to a story from... Damn, that bird was loud. We will get to a story from 2016, which isn't even the story that I remember seeing. But we'll tell you how we got there. But first, MonkeyGate. So this is a very interesting Reddit post from 2020, surprisingly, about events that happened in 2016. So I'm going to skip down to the gacha. The setup. Like any other gacha game that came out, Granblue Fantasy revolves around the player using in-game currency that can either be bought or slowly accumulated over time to roll the in-game gacha, which spits out various characters that accompany the player into battle. There's rarities, and the exact percentage chance of rolling an SSR in Granblue Fantasy is 3%, to give you an idea of how much rarer they are compared to the rest. So this would be their highest rarity tier. It would be kind of like URs are for us if we didn't have double cost units. So like regular UR tier, I guess. Back in 2016, Psy Games, the creators of Granblue Fantasy, had a great idea. Why not create SSR characters based on Chinese zodiac animals and have them limited to only appear in the gacha during their corresponding year? Well, 2016 was Year of the Monkey, and so the character of the year was nicknamed Monkey. And as you would expect when putting on a limited premium character in front of an audience of enthusiastic gacha gamers, many people were determined to get her before she left the gacha pool. One of those people was a fairly popular streamer that went by the name of Taste, one who one fateful day decided to livestream himself spending money rolling the gacha for Monkey. And this is where our story begins. So, you're like 3% likely to get an SSR, and this is kind of the way that things work for us. Again, nothing that I would expect to be too different for you as a gacha player. But that because of this, because you're splitting between all the SSR characters and apparently items that were in that pool as well, the rate of getting a specific character is less than 1%, which I would actually imagine is probably much less than 1%. Granblue Fantasy would have featured rate up banners where certain characters have their individual rates boosted within that 3%. Taste held this stream during a banner with Monkey and the two other characters, all three of whom were on rate up. So, I don't know, that's kind of a red flag right there. How are you going to get 3 characters within 3% to rate up? Even if they're all at the maximum that they could be, theoretically, they're all at 1%, which, as this article stated, is already not great. But in addition to that, it couldn't possibly be that, because that would imply that the only SSRs you could pull on that, and it would be them, and that doesn't really sound like what's going on here. So Taste proceeded to roll, and roll, and roll some more, and continue rolling, because 2,000 rolls in, he still hadn't gotten a single copy of Monkey. Yeah, random luck or whatnot, but he had already gotten multiple copies of the 2 other featured characters. So either he was really unlucky, or something was fishy. Eventually, he got his first Monkey somewhere in the 2000s, or in monetary terms, after spending over 6,000 USD. So, Taste Stream was not an isolated incident. It was one of the more widely discussed incidents because it happened on stream, but there were a lot of other players that were reporting similar things. They just didn't have the stream to back it up. So, eventually, bringing a lot of this data together. Someone put together hard statistical data on this. There is a link to that. Fuck. If this makes sense to anyone, congratulations. Good job. Yeah. I hope that helps. And like, this is also kind of how, I forget who it was. Somebody else got in trouble for the JP of their gacha because their rates were exactly what they said they were. After someone did a statistical check such as this. Surprisingly, the player base was not happy about being, well, lied to, since Cygames had never officially declared their individual gacha rates, and Monkey was indeed on the rate up, but they were certainly being taken advantage of in some way. The incident picked up steam on the internet and got big enough that it made it into the Japanese newspapers. So this would lead to Cygames, the then producer of Granblue Fantasy, eventually apologizing for the mess on a live stream. And this brought several changes to the game, chiefly among them that the gacha would be updated with individual rates for every item in the pool to prevent another not quite lying incident like this from happening again. And in addition, and this was actually the part that I'm meaning to get to here, a failsafe system was added to the gacha, where after rolling 300 times on one banner, or in monetary terms spending about $900 USD, players could directly pick an item to obtain. For players who had already rolled Monkey, Cygames refunded everyone 100% on their rolls in in-game premium currency, effectively making everyone's rolls on that banner free. The Japanese Online Games Association also got involved, and I'm not gonna go into that, but they are actually a really powerful force in stories like this, and probably one of the foremost regulating bodies on gachas in the world, from what I know. So, reading the aftermath, it looks like this was far from their last such incident. But I bring it up specifically because this incident happened in 2016, which is also when this incident happened, though fuck knows who at this point, I guess. And this is a long post. It starts in 2016. I would wager the part that I'm going to be reading about is probably maybe like 2017. I don't really feel like looking up when Dark Veritas came out, but I found this particular story because I remember a Reddit post, and it, you know, it could have very well been like a reference to this Reddit post, but I thought that it would make a lot more sense if I had seen a reference to this post at the time. I don't think that's what happened, but I remember when Veritas of the Dark got his Neo-Visioned Awakened form, I remember seeing a Reddit post about how someone had spent like $6,000 to $10,000 or $2,000, I don't know. The idea of spending thousands of dollars on a gacha was so alien to me that it stuck out in my brain. So I tried to look up like Veritas of the Dark, spending money, gacha, Reddit, FFBE, and this is where I ended up. While on vacation, the Veritas banner was announced. The most anticipated unit since Orlando. I had an Orlando from tickets. It would be awesome to get a training partner for Orlando. Veritas of the Dark was the coolest, with the black armor. Dark damage heals him, and the Dark Retribution attack. Something in me snapped, and I was back to I had to have him. It was another double rainbow banner, so maybe I would be lucky this time. But after $1,000, no Veritas of the Light. I had 4 Veritas of the Flame. I was angry. How could I have spent so much and not gotten the unit that I wanted? Why would Final Fantasy, Gumi, Square Enix not give it to me? How much could I spend? How could I spend so much and not get what I want? Another $1,000. I got 2 more Veritas of the Flames, another Orlando, a second Freevia, Olive, Emperor, but no Dark Veritas. How? Why? Now, I am stubborn. I am not putting this much money out there to not get what I want. I want Oh, sorry. 99, no Dark Veritas. $99, no Dark Veritas. $99, the Second Emperor. I almost threw my phone against the wall. $99, finally Veritas of the Dark. $2,500, 9 Veritas of the Flames, half a dozen other 5-star base, and I finally got Veritas of the Dark. Wait, what the fuck did I just do? Did I really just spend $2,500 to get a little animated piece of code? What is my wife going to think? What will my kids say? I tell them I don't have much money to spare. I dutifully split my paycheck 3 ways: household expenses, savings, and my spending money. What can I do? I can do what I want with my spending money. I just won't get anything for myself for a year or two. To pay this back, to my card a couple hundred at a time. Fuck it, I can have what I want. I can put in another 1,000 just to keep going with the energy refills, and I can play however and whenever I want. That is the sound of a person who has not learned their lesson, and like, not learned their lesson. Not, like, just to get to the bottom. I am currently $15,800 in debt. My wife no longer trusts me. My kids, who ask me why I'm playing Final Fantasy all the time, will never understand how I selfishly spent money I should have been using for their activities, their birthdays, their festivals, their clothes, their school events, their weekends, their movies. I have never spent more than $1,000 on my wife at one time. I spent $16,000 on digital garbage in about a year. If she decides that she will not divorce me, I owe her more than I could ever repay. I am not playing anymore. I will not get Cloud. I will leave, oh god, 500,000 lapis in an account that will stay idle. The friends I have will drop me as my days since last played increases. I will not get to beat Marlboro. It's Marlboro. That's it. Yeah. You're mixing the two up. I will not see how Chapter 2 plays out. I will not have any 7-star units. FFBE is over. I became a gambling addict over a game where there is no return, no reward for spending my money. I mean, yeah, you say that now that you've quit, but I think the you that spent all of that money would say that there was a reward. I mean, I'm not like... I'm sure gamblers would say there is a reward while they're gambling as well. Like, I'm not saying that's not true, but you got an experience out of it. You did get that. Did you overpay for that experience by about $16,000? Yes. I flushed $16,000 down the toilet over a game. Also, here's the other thing. I am currently $5,800 in debt. You're telling me that after the first $2,000, after the first $200, you went directly into debt for Final Fantasy? Bro! I mean, okay, look, I'm not judging this person, and I probably could talk a lot of shit here because they are now anonymous. They have deleted themselves from this post. I will never know who this post is. Don't tell me in the comments. I really don't want to know. I don't care. Some people are on this planet to be an example to others. Don't be that guy. But I don't know, man. Like, that's just... I try not to buy anything on credit. But the idea of, like, spending in a game on credit, that is beyond nutso to me. Anyways, this is all 2016 shit. It has been 7 years since then. And I know we complain sometimes about whether a banner is 20 pulls or 21 pulls, but, like... How many... was it for Granblue when they first introduced their pity system? 300. I guess that might be 30 pulls if they're doing 10 pulls. But like, come on now. We're in a relative golden age of Gacha compared to the absolute fucking disaster that things were, even a couple of years ago, like right before I started playing, just incredibly abusive. And then, you know, of course, us as Americans, since a lot of these gachas didn't really take off in the same numbers here in America as they did overseas, sometimes even in China in addition to Japan, we kind of didn't learn this lesson until Diablo Immortal, I think. Like, and hold on, I've got to pull that one up. I don't know how I could do this story. Wow. 50,000. Wait, oh. This number just gets higher. Good lord, I'm not gonna watch Asmongold on stream, but here we go. YouTuber Jay It's All Business has reportedly investing 100,000 into making his barbarian one of the most powerful characters among the millions who play Diablo Immortal. $100,000 to be good at a video game. I mean, not even really good at a video game, but to have something that makes you feel good at a video game. Like, no, yeah, let's genuinely call this what it is. You spent $100,000 to feel like you are good at a video game at this point. In an unfortunate twist, the player has such a high matchmaking rating that Diablo Immortal is no longer pairing him with PvP opponents. Oh man, that is a bad... Now that's having nothing to show for it. At least this dude had some... Oh, I spent $100,000 to get the strongest character in Diablo Immortal that there could ever possibly be, and I can't even fucking play him. Good grief. Between 48 to 72 hours, somewhere in between that of only trying to queue for a battleground and never being able to get one. First of all, I understand why that's in quotes, because that sentence construction is fucking terrible. I wouldn't want to take credit for that as the writer of this article either. But like, this wasn't even the one that was like famous though. I think it was the guy who spent, yeah, it was the guy who deleted it, and I think that was 25. Okay. Although I think he came back and like spent more later. We will find out. Quinn69. I think this is the one. Okay. Quinn69 spends 25k in Diablo Immortal, then rage deletes. It's no surprise at this point that gamers are frustrated with the pay-to-win structure of Diablo Immortal, but streamer Quinn69 Crawford may be the angriest of them all. Gamers have been spending thousands on new mobile games since it was released in June 2nd to prove how insane the microtransactions are. That seems like a really dumb idea. You're clearly abusing me for profit, so I'm gonna hand you money to prove how you're abusing me for profit. That doesn't seem like it's the best logic I've heard, but okay. Protest is protest, I guess. Quinn69 has spent thousands since the game came out in an attempt to get a 5-star gem. These are obtained in a loot box-like system, hoping to build upgraded weapons and armor in order to complete the game. In a recent stream, Quinn69 finally got a 5-star gem and deleted the game in defiance. Apparently he spent over $25,000 to finally get his hands on the 5-star gem. And my understanding is, like, it's not even just a 1 gem thing. Like, you need like 6 to fully complete your gear or something. So I don't know, theoretical investment there of like 150k if he is that bad, that has that poor luck the whole way through. It was an honor to whale with you, Quinn69 said to his clan before deleting the game again. Yeah, he installed the game again to screenshot it and then destroy it by using it on a 1-star item. That's right. Yeah, he completely destroyed it later. Fuck you, Blizzard. Quinn stated that Diablo Immortal didn't deserve to be on his computer. This frustration has been shared by World of Warcraft player Asmongold, who has been complaining about the game since it was announced. Recently, Asmongold even got in touch with the US Senator to discuss his concerns with predatory games full of microtransactions like Diablo Immortal. Purchasing the crest in hopes of getting a 5-star gem can be a bit like gambling, something that concerns many in the gaming community. So, I know, Gacha can be gambling, like a socially accepted form of gambling, at least among other Gacha players, but it don't have to be like that. Again, if you use the pity systems and you kind of do this smartly and with reasonable expectations, it doesn't have to be gambling. You get what you want when you want it. You don't fucking play the odds. And the odds are in your favor because there is a pity system. You're not going to sit down and spend, oh god, how much was it? $2,500 getting what became a trash unit from my recollection. It was really good in Arena though. That double slash was just great. The Arena was stupid. Double slash shouldn't have been great. It was such a trash move in like every other format. Amazing in Arena. Anyways, I'm just saying that FFBE has learned some lessons over its time. The overall Gacha community has learned lessons, but a lot of those lessons were either primarily learned by or are now primarily enforced by Japan. And where are you? Groups like this. But we don't have the American equivalent of that. And I'm not saying that we need it for War of the Visions. In fact, I'm making the point that War of the Visions is a place where we don't need this kind of thing. But that there are a whole other ecosystem which our countrymen, our English-speaking comrades around the world, are probably getting into now without... I don't know. We kind of know what's up at this point, and I think they're much newer to it. Like, you know, they've only been having this Diablo conversation for like a year now, and it's something that we've been discussing since at least 2016. Yeah, there was a little bit of a conversation about loot boxes in one of the Battlefront games. Maybe that was a little bit before that, but like really, I would say that the English-speaking gamer community is way behind on identifying and holding companies accountable for this predatory behavior, because I mean, like, let me just go back to that Google search, because this happened. This was a major story. This is so much worse. So much worse than this story. This isn't even in the same ballpark. There's an extra fucking digit in the Diablo Immortal story. And that was the initial that was the month one controversy. This game released in June of 2022. But look at like, okay, hold on. I've got to go back one more. But look at like what was happening later. I mean, has what's the recent news on Diablo Immortal? I'm seeing a bunch of like news making in 2022. June, July, August. So they were still doing the same kind of shit a couple months later, and it seems like all of these people were trying to punish them by giving them money. I don't know. This is kind of dumb. But I guess what I'm saying is that the lesson that could be learned here, that us in the largely English-speaking world, in the kind of group that get lumped into global games, Europe, South America, any of those other folks out there outside of Japan, we don't really have something like this, to my knowledge. Europe might, tell me in the comments, but this feels like something that other gamers need, because like, if this organization was not interested in regulating the global versions of these games as well, we would see much more predatory behavior than we do. And I mean, I hear that there are other games that are much more predatory than wotv even now, but you know, even within like the more Japanese gacha space. But it just feels like we have collective power through Joga in a way that other types of gamers don't, in a way that's becoming really relevant. So I think it's important for the gaming community in general to learn the lesson that it seems that Gacha and Japan did as far back as 2016. Because otherwise we're just destined to make the exact same mistakes. So, thank you for watching another episode of Gumi Economics, and I hope you tune into the next one. Not sure when that's gonna be. Still promise to do one about symbiogenesis. It's not dead in the water, by the way. I looked up their Twitter. They're still tweeting. They're actually doing... this was kind of old. They're going on what looks like a live stream campaign. They're also doing these, like, what is their job? In English and in Japanese. But they've been doing a lot of, like, Twitter Spaces live stream stuffs. So, I mean, it's not dead. English oh shit, there's an English AMA tomorrow. Okay. Good deal. Alright, well, my my horrible curiosity about this game aside, thank you for watching. If you have made it to this point in the video, you must love me. So be sure to like and subscribe. If you happen to be listening in the car, something like that, because I am a long-winded fox, and that is one of the ways the working class has access to this. I mean, I guess you could also be listening to me to help you fall asleep, in which case you might be asleep by now. You might not be able to like and subscribe. Maybe that's why this isn't working. Maybe I should be asking you to like and subscribe at the beginning of the video before you've fallen asleep. I'm not really sure. But thank you for that. I understand there's a very important place in people's lives. I have a lot of trouble sleeping. I would be eternally grateful to the person who helped me fall asleep. You know what I mean? So I appreciate those who have given me that place in their life. Glad that I have such a soothing voice for you. And with all that being said, I guess all that's left to say is I'll see you in the next one.